Welcome to section 11, Not Knowing About Debugging Tools. Debugging is an essential skill and it is as important as the development itself. We have various tools for debugging. A developer with good debugging skills should be comfortable or at least be aware of these tools. In this section, we will review some of these. In the first video, we will look at not being aware of Visual Studio's debugging abilities. Before moving to Visual Studio itself, let's briefly review the debugging capabilities of Visual Studio Code itself. In the case of Visual Studio Code, for this particular case, we have a simple Razor Pages application. So let's try to run it without debugger first. I click Debug and click Start without debugging. And the browser window opens and I basically have a simple page with home and privacy pages. The next thing we do is to see Visual Studio Code's debugging abilities. So I minimize and I put a breakpoint here, and as you see the breakpoint is not highlighted because I'm not in the debugging mode yet. To do so, I stop, I click debug, and in this case I just select start debugging. Now you see my breakpoint in index model constructor has become visible, and at the point of my page loads, Visual Studio Code warns me that a breakpoint has been hit. I click F5 and my page loads successfully. If I load it again and my breakpoint again hits, and at this point I can check locals, which show me the fields of this index model. I can see current logger instance. I can see its non-public members. I can see the call stack for each thread. In this case, I'm in this worker thread where it doesn't show the external code because at this point of time, this code, the current constructor is called from the ASP.NET runtime. I can add things to watch, right click and debug at the watch. I can see the list of my breakpoints. I can even edit them. I can tell them that, for example, when do I want this breakpoint to be hit. Actually, I can tell in the case of logger is equal null, then break. If I go to my page, let's continue here, and if I go to my page, if I reload, you will see the breakpoint is hit. You may think we are assigning a value to logger underscore logger. How come this condition is satisfied? Because the evaluation for the breakpoint condition is calculated before the line executes. Because this line yet not executed, our logger is null. Although the watch windows say that it is not null, since I have not executed this line yet, the actual value for underscore logger is null. In addition to that, I can add different kind of conditional breakpoints, such as based on a hit count. So I can say only hit if the hit count is 3. 1, 2, 3. As you see, on my third attempt, the breakpoint has been hit. I can step over, step out, and these are the standard debugging features. So this is basically what Visual Studio Code offers. Let's see what Visual Studio itself offers on top of these things. Here in this case, our Visual Studio is running, and we have the same concept, and we have the same breakpoint at the same place. But we have additional capabilities, such as I can break my process, and then I can see the call stack at that point of time. Call stack. From the debug window, if I want to see what are all the threads are doing, I can go from debug windows and parallel stacks. And this actually actively shows what each thread is doing at this point of time. In addition to that, another ability is that I can now basically you can put conditions, and in condition case you also have one additional criteria called filter. The difference between filter and condition is that conditions target your own code, whereas with filter you can put filtrations on a per process or per thread. For example, you want this breakpoint to trigger on a particular thread only, and also you can specify an action. So if you specify an action, you can say that I do not want my code to break up, I want to print the call stack itself. So if I put that call stack thing, for example, and continue code execution, then whenever my breakpoint hits, it will not break, but it will only add an event to the diagnostics tools. So let's see. If I refresh my page and click continue, my page has been refreshed, and in diagnostics window I can see my trace point, which specifies the current call stack. There are many other capabilities of Visual Studio, such as IntelliTrace, breaking on a field's change value, but it is not possible to cover them in short amount of time. In the next video, we will look at not using Fiddler to diagnose HTTP traffic.